All right, let's dive into something pretty cool today.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. We're talking condenser fan motors, that little thing in your AC unit that keeps everything running.
Right, keeps the air moving. We've got this blog post we're looking at from 2025. Wholesale AC services, they're down in Miami, all about replacing these motors.
Sounds pretty specific, but you're saying even if I'm not planning to DIY my AC, there's stuff in here for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Energy efficiency, how to keep your system in tip-top shape, maybe even save a few bucks on those bills.
Okay, I'm listening. So back to basics for a sec. What does this condenser fan motor actually do? Why is it so important?
So think of it like this. It pulls air through the condenser coil, and that cools down the refrigerant. Without it, things get hot. No air, no cooling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if this thing stops working, it's more than just a warm room. We're talking real problems.
Yeah, big time. No fan, the refrigerant can't release heat, the whole system overheats, and then you find you're looking at a major breakdown, expensive fix.
Yikes. Okay. So this blog post walks us through replacing the motor. Is this something I could try myself, or are we calling in the professionals for this one?
Well, the blog post does lay out the steps pretty clearly. But it's not just like changing a light bulb. They've got a whole list of tools you need, even a multimeter.
Multimeter.
Oh.
Okay. I know I've heard that word before, but what's it for again?
It's basically like a detective for electrical stuff. Measures things like voltage, resistance, helps you make sure everything's wired up right, no surprises.
Ah, so it's not just about swapping the part. Got to make sure the new one is working with the whole system.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the safety stuff comes in. This blog post is really big on safety. Like, first thing they say, turn off the power before you do anything.
Makes sense. Don't want to get zapped. They also talk about labeling all the wires before you disconnect anything. Seems smart, easy to get things mixed up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even pros do that. You don't want to be guessing when you're putting everything back together. Labels are your friends.
All right, so got my tools, got my safety glasses ready to go. What's the overall process here?
Well, they break it down into 5 main steps. First, power off. Then, you take out the old fan assembly, disconnect the wires, carefully remember those labels. Then, you put in the new motor and put everything back how it was.
5 steps. Seems straightforward enough.
Yeah.
Any tips in the blog post to make this whole thing go smoother?
They really emphasize making sure all those connections are tight, like really snug. And then, once you're done, test the system thoroughly. You don't want to turn it on just to realize something's not right.
Yeah, good point. Better to take your time than have to redo everything. Even though they explain it all, I'm guessing you'd still recommend a professional if someone's not super comfortable with this kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Electricity is not something to mess around with. But even if you're not doing it yourself, understanding the process can help you ask the right questions when you're talking to an AC technician. Make sure they're doing it right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Empowerment, right. Knowing what's what. Okay, so let's say I'm ready to get a new motor. What should I be looking for? This blog post is from 2025, so I'm guessing energy efficiency is a big deal by then.
Huge deal. They talk a lot about picking a motor that's, in line with those modern energy saving standards. Not just about staying cool, it's about doing it in a smart way.
So how do I know if a motor is energy efficient? Like, what should I be looking for?
Well, they go into a few different things. But have you heard of SEER ratings?
SEER rating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, seasonal energy efficiency ratio. Used to think that was just like marketing speak. But it really tells you how much you'll save on your energy bills, right?
Exactly. And usually a higher SEER rating means it's more environmentally friendly too. Save money and reduce that carbon footprint. It's a win-win.
Love a good win-win. Even if I'm not stressing over SEER ratings right now, this whole thing makes me think about all the little things that can affect energy efficiency in my house. Like, what else am I missing?
Well, that's a great question, and it's something we can explore a little deeper in this deep dive. It's crazy, right? We started with this tiny little motor, and now we're talking about like the whole energy efficiency thing, making our homes greener.
Totally. Like this one little part got us thinking about all these bigger changes we can make.
Yeah, exactly. This wholesale AC services blog post really got me thinking about things we might be missing, opportunities.
Okay, so like what? What kind of opportunities are we talking about?
Well, think about insulation for a second. People usually think about it for staying warm in the winter,
Right, keep the heat in?
but it's just as important for keeping cool in the summer.
Oh, that's true. Good insulation means that cool air stays trapped inside. And that means your AC doesn't have to work as hard.
Exactly. Lower energy bills,
Yeah.
less wear and tear on your system, everybody wins.
So something as basic as adding insulation could make a real difference in how efficient my AC is and how long it lasts.
Absolutely. And there are so many other things you can do too, like planting trees strategically to shade your house, or using those energy-efficient windows.
Yeah, good points. It really shows how everything's connected. It's not just about the AC unit itself. It's about your whole house.
It really is. And
Yeah.
that's where this blog post is a great job. It's not just trying to sell you something. It's about giving you knowledge, helping you make good decisions about your home and your energy use.
Yeah, I like that. It's like they want you to be in control,
Mm.
make smart choices that help everybody, not just their business.
Exactly. And it all starts with awareness.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about this stuff, you'll be surprised how many little things you can do to make a difference.
This is making me think about that time I was trying to cut down on my energy bills. I was so focused on getting those LED light bulbs,
Yeah, the classic swap.
which, was good. But then I realized I had this old window, super drafty. All the cool air was just leaking out.
Oh, yeah, the hidden energy sucker. Seriously. Once I sealed that thing up, my energy bill dropped like crazy. Makes you realize we miss the simplest things sometimes.
Totally. It's all about looking at the whole picture, not just the obvious stuff. And that's a skill you can use for anything, not just home maintenance.
That's a great point. So, if we could give our listeners one big takeaway from all this, what would it be?
Don't underestimate the little things.
Mm.
Replacing that fan motor, sealing a drafty window, planting a tree, they all matter.
And all those little things add up to big changes, right? For our wallets, for the planet.
Exactly. And sometimes, the most unexpected places, like a blog post about AC repair, can get you thinking in a whole new way.
Totally agree. So, speaking of unexpected, this blog post actually mentions that Wholesale AC Services offers a bunch of different high-quality condenser fan motors. I'm actually kind of curious about this company now.
Me too. Seems like they're more than just an AC company. They're really trying to teach people, help them make good choices. Yeah, it's nice to see a company that cares about more than just selling stuff. Let's dig into that a little more, see what else we can find out about them. It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
We started with a blog post about, a fan motor. And now we're talking about big picture stuff like energy efficiency and even how this company, Wholesale AC Services, sees the world.
Yeah, I know. It just shows you never know where a deep dive will take you. Start with one little thing, end up somewhere completely different.
Right. And for me, what really stands out about Wholesale AC Services is how much they focus on teaching people stuff.
Yeah.
Not just fixing your AC, but making sure you understand it so you can make good decisions about your home.
It's like they want you to be part of the solution, not just the customer with
Yeah,
the problem.
totally.
Yeah.
And that ties back to everything we've been talking about,
Yeah.
right? Making those small changes, realizing we all have a part to play in making things more sustainable.
Exactly. It's not about waiting for someone else to come fix everything. It's about taking responsibility,
Yeah.
understanding that what we do, even the little things, they all add up.
So for our listeners out there, what's the one thing we want them to take away from all this? What's the message?
I'd say be curious. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to dig a little deeper, like whether it's researching a new fridge or figuring out how your heating system works or just thinking about the energy you use every day. That curiosity, it makes you smarter. It helps you make better choices.
I like that. Be curious. And you know what? I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up. Remember, every deep dive is a journey, and sometimes the best discoveries happen when you least expect it.
So true. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those ACs running cool.
Until next time.